At Warbling Brothers Roadshow and Circus, we had our Gazzoni just like Ringling Brothers or Barnum and Bailey. All shows, big or small, had them. They were part of the business. You couldn't get away from them. It was the name we gave temporary laborers at the bottom rung of our world. Don't get them confused with the roustabouts, those permanent guys who we depended on day in and day out no matter what the situation. Those guys were family. But a Gazzoni was a pothead or a wino or an ex-con or just a general roughneck. Most lasted only a few days or a month until they made enough money to feed their habit, whether it was drugs or alcohol or women. For the most part, the crew or performers refused to associate with them because they usually meant trouble, some more than others, like this guy I'm going to tell you about by the name of Sojourn Parker. He came walking down between the trucks in a kind of swagger, carrying a valise so old and worn the handle had broken and been repaired with electrical tape.
"You the boss?"
he asked. His voice sounded deep and hoarse like he gargled with gravel. I judged him to be in his mid to late 30s, but I could have been wrong about that. His left eye drooped and his nose seemed to go in two different directions at once. He stood a good 6 feet in height, and even though he wore a baggy shirt, I could see he had plenty of muscle under there, but his skin appeared sallow from too many years out of the sun. "How long have you been out?" I asked. He appeared mildly surprised I recognized him as an ex-con.
"Half a day, as long as it took to walk from there to here."
"You looking for a handout or a job?" I asked.
"Which you willing to part with?"
"You work the rest of the day, you get food tonight. You hire on, it's $10 a week. We supply grub and a place to sleep." His eyes looked beyond me to guys breaking down tents and packing trucks.
"I never worked for a carnival."
It don't take a college degree to move things from one place to another. I waited while he thought on it, but after a few seconds I got impatient. Yes or no? He rolled his shoulders in a shrug.
"I'll take the job."
I called Dally over. He handled the crew responsible for assembling the rides. He was a good kid, not much past 20, and one of the brightest guys who worked for us. But he stood barely 5 feet and a huge hump rose out of his back, forcing him into a crouch as he walked. "What's your name?" I asked the ex-con.
"Parker,"
he smiled.
"Sojourn Parker."
"This is Dally." I nodded to the kid. "You'll work with him." Parker shot a glance at the kid and his mouth twisted like he tasted sour lemon. To his credit, he said nothing. Dally looked up at me.
"A Gazzoni?"
he asked, and I nodded.
"What's a Gazzoni?"
Parker asked. "A newcomer," I lied. "A guy who's never worked Carnies."
"Interesting word."
Parker's smile widened.
"Words always interest me. You know, what they mean and what's behind them."
"Come on, I'll show you where you can store your gear,"
Dally said. He started off, but before Parker followed, I said, "One more thing. You cause trouble, you're gone. You clear on that?"
"Yeah, sure,"
he said in an offhand way that irritated me. Right then and there, I wanted to take back my offer, tell the bastard to get lost, but I made a bargain and I would stick to it, at least until he gave me cause to fire his ass. He must have guessed my reaction, and he said,
"I won't cause trouble. I did my time. I'm a changed man."
"Seeing is believing," I said.